Hey everybody, this is Jay coming at you. I got a YouTube video. I think this is a special one for me because this is a video that I've been planning on doing for a really long time. And it's a complicated subject, so I'm going to try to work you into it. I might sound like I go on tangents in this video, but it's a complicated subject, so I'm going to try to approach it from the appropriate angles. Just to get you oriented, this is kind of like an all-star game of Napoleon Total War. I'm on this team here. The near side player, that's Riscard, that's me, that's the Bishop, that's Graticus Finch. Our noble opponents, I believe that's Maha and Glenn Jocelyn, who's the founder of the BSA clan. He's my direct opponent. That is Karlov, and that's a old school guy that used to be in the Huntsman clan. He went by Napoleon. And so it's a 4v4 game, obviously, on Grassy. And there's a subject that I've wanted to do a video on or to talk about in Napoleon for a long time. And this replay itself is almost, well, it's about 9 months old now. No joke, I've been saving this replay for 9 months. And I've wanted to do a video on this game for that long. And it's taken me that long. I've spent so much time watching this replay and kind of writing notes on it and trying to get it together, and I kind of figured, fuck it, it's never going to be perfect, let's just go ahead and fucking do it. The subject that I want to talk about is variance, and I thought this replay was an excellent example of that concept. And variance is a term that gets used in poker a lot. Excuse me. And essentially it means luck. And if you play poker competitively at all, you'd know that there are some situations where you turn over aces and the other guy turns over kings, and you should win that hand, right? But the other guy hits his king, and that's luck. And another way to put that, or a more technical perspective, is variance. And the argument I want to make is just the simple version. There's a lot of variance in Napoleon. You could probably turn the video off right now. There's a lot of variance in Napoleon. That's pretty much what I want to say. Now I'm going to talk for the next 20 minutes about that subject a little more in depth. But there's a lot of variance in Napoleon. And that's really important for you to recognize. I know a lot of people play this game and they get frustrated because certain situations will come up or whatever. And sometimes you just have to put it down to, okay, there's a lot of variance. And that's kind of a reality, and that's something we all have to deal with. But there's a more complicated aspect to the issue of variance, and that's what I want to talk about a little bit. In Napoleon, there's a lot of competitive spirit between the people who play it. And that can take a more positive form of, oh man, I've tried really hard that game and that guy just beat my ass. But you know, he beat me, so GG to you, sir. You know, that'd be a more positive, gentlemanly aspect. And then there's the more rough, aggressive, you know, fuck you kind of shit-talking thing. And that is, let's just call that bad. But in a way, in my mind, I kind of still think of that as good. And the reason I say that's good is that if you didn't care about the game, if you didn't care about the outcome of the game, you wouldn't be upset about the outcome of the game. And sometimes when I play this game, if I lose, I get really, really frustrated. I get really, really mad. I know a lot of other people do too. And when they lose, they get mad, they say things that, you know, on the spur of the moment come at them, that are maybe a little too aggressive for the context. And, you know, we say things, and that's how little grudges get started, right? That's, you know, one little game and one comment between a losing player and a winning player or whatever, something like that. That's how that you get all of the bullshit that happens in this little Napoleon community, or I guess, you know, players that 8 months ago were playing Napoleon, now playing Shogun. You know, that's how you get the bullshit. And in a way, kind of the argument I want to make is that the bullshit is good for the game, because the fact that you're providing bullshit means that you respect the game, that you care about the game, that the fact that you lost means you're hurt. right? And you're hurt, and that means that you cared about what you lost, right? And so in a way, I think that that is all right in a kind of roundabout way. I still think that everybody should, purport themselves like gentlemen. Everybody should be nice. But I'll be honest, man, I rage. Man, I rage every now and then. I ain't proud to admit it, but I fucking rage. You rage. You should admit it. We both fucking rage. We fucking rage, man. Because you practice, you work real hard, you think you're doing good at the game, and you get your ass beat by somebody with a bunch of shooter cav or whatever the fuck happens, man. You lose a straight up light on light fight, you're Prussian, they're French, you should beat their ass, but somehow their lights beat yours, and you're like, what the fuck, man? And you get pissed the fuck off. You get pissed the fuck off. And I respect that. I respect that you get pissed off, right? Because in a way, you getting pissed off demonstrates that you love the game. You getting pissed off represents that, you've done the homework to learn the game mechanics, you've gotten good at the game, and then some random fucking bullshit happens, and you get pissed the fuck off. You should get pissed off. That getting pissed off is a result of variance. Because sometimes shit happens. There's a random number generator in the game that determines whether or not your men score casualty or not. Sometimes that RNG goes in your favor, and sometimes it doesn't, right? In this particular game, Jocelyn completely kicked my ass right here. He completely beat my ass. And we both adopted exactly the same strategy. We both had targeted fire in our lights, and somehow Jocelyn winds up beating the fuck out of me. Now, I'll concede that Glenn is a better Napoleon player than I am. He's a fabulous Napoleon player. He's actually also just one of my favorite people to hang out with and chat with on TeamSpeak. But I felt like in this game, I completely got my ass kicked. And that the result of that was kind of random. I completely got my ass beat. I know, talking to Riss, when we played this game, that he completely got his ass kicked in this game. And it was a unique game, and I saved the replay because Riss and I were like, dude, we're just getting fucked up. And we couldn't explain why. And I don't want to try to make excuses. I just want to use this replay as kind of a jump into the discussion of variance as the random element in Napoleon that nobody ever seems to talk about. Nobody talks about. We talk about this game as a game of maneuver, is kind of a chess-like activity, but the reality, man, is there's a lot of variance in this game. I'm not going to say anything more intelligent than that. That's it. There is a ton of fucking variance in this game. And that is a reality. Sometimes things just go your way. Sometimes things don't go your way. It's interesting. There's another kind of issue I want to touch on, and kind of as an analogy to lead into it. I'm really psyched. One of my favorite music groups, the name is Hilltop Hoods. They're a hip-hop group, but they're from Australia. So their music hasn't been available to buy in the U.S. until just like 1 week ago. So the only interaction I've had with Hilltop Hoods is watching videos of them playing YouTube. And just lately I got to buy their whole catalog. And if you're remotely a fan of hip hop, I recommend Hilltop Hoods. So I got to buy their whole catalog, and they got this one track, and there's a line in it where one of the guys goes, he says, I've been a fuck up, and now I'm a better man for having been one. I've been a fuck up, and now I'm a better man for being one. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about the courage it takes to say something like that. That we have all raged, okay? We have all raged. We have all done, said things that, we in the heat of the moment, and we've all raged. It's the bottom line. And what I want to throw out to y'all is that if if you raged or whatever and you made some enemies, or you weren't as nice a human as you thought you could have been or whatever, that's okay. And that, I think the universe owes you some apology, or do your penance, and the universe will give you apology. That I'll come out and admit that I haven't been the best human in the world playing Napoleon. Sometimes when variance games go against me, I lose my shit, man. I ain't gonna lie about it. I got a short temper, and as chill as y'all think I am from watching the videos or whatever, like, I get on my shit, man. I ain't gonna lie about it. I fucking rage like the best of them. And I know, like I said earlier, that's really just a sign that you care. You know what I mean? Like, if you feel the urge or the necessity or rage on losing a video game like this, that's a good sign, because it means that you care. And I love that line from the track from the Hilltop Hoods, that I've been a fuck up and now I'm a better man for being one. That if you're smart enough to be like, all right, yeah, that was out of control or whatever, then the next interaction you have, you're more likely to contain yourself, to be smart. You know what I mean? And I like that. And it's a lesson I'm trying to take to heart, kind of in terms of how I interact with everybody and all that. So, I just want to throw that out there, that, the two-pronged theory that, there's a lot of variance in this game, and you're going to lose some games just based on that variance, just based on the reality that there's a lot of randomness, and that B, that when that does hit you, don't lose your shit. You know what I mean? Because you just got to be like, all right, man, it wasn't our day, and I believe that this is a game of skill, that 90% of the time that the better player will find a way to win. But there are those times where it just kind of doesn't go your way, and that's okay. You gotta acknowledge that. You gotta get down with that. And that's really all I wanted to say. And I know that I'm wasting a bit of your time because I wasn't, really in track with the replay or whatever. But next time you're playing a Napoleon game, or whatever game you play, and you have a rough outing, and you're like, man, why is his light shooting mine down where the odds should be equal, and what the fuck? And then you get upset. I mean, two things, man. A, the fact that you're upset means that you're a good competitor, and there's a value to that. And then B, sometimes you just got to be like, all right, it wasn't my day. It wasn't my day. And the strongest move that you can make, as a man, right there, the strongest move that you can make as a man right there is just to be like, look yourself, in the mirror, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and be like, all right, Jay, we weren't, our 100% right there, but let's recognize our mistake and let's try to learn from it. And I'll tell you what, here's a good life lesson to you younger guys watching this channel. I'll give you a lesson from business. Like, I'm a businessman. I run a business, and every now and then, with your vendors or whoever you interact with, if you're a professional, if you're gonna fuck up, and your business relationships will get fucked up. But I have never once, every time I've gone to a business relation of mine and I said, you know what, man, I'm sorry, I fucked up. Or anytime somebody else has fucked up with me and they've come to me and they've said, Jay, I'm sorry about that, I fucked up. Every time, always forgiven. Always forgiven. When you become an adult and you start interacting with other adults, and if you go to that other adult and you say, I just want to be really honest with you, I made a mistake, I fucked up, I made a mistake. Every time in my business relationships, I've been forgiven, or I have forgave, and that's the best advice I can give to you young pups coming out, kind of entering the professional world. It's the same thing with video games. You're going to fuck up, and you're going to rage, and you're going to make an enemy. But I bet if you go to that enemy and you say, you know what, I'm sorry, I want to apologize to you, and I made a mistake, and if I could, I'd take it back, but I made a mistake. Uh, I don't know how many times I've done that, or that's happened to me vice versa in my professional life. But if you just be like, you know what, I'm sorry, I fucked up, and that's it, I fucked up. There's nothing else to say. That I've been forgiven 100% of the time, and I have forgave 100% of the time. And you know what's ironic is you build stronger relationships from that. You actually, it's ironic, but you fuck up somebody and you look them in the eye and you say, I'm sorry, I fucked up. And you build a stronger relationship with that person than you would with somebody that you have a clean sheet with. It's weird that it works out that way, but you do that, you know, and things will fucked up. So the progression of the argument I'm making for this video is this game has a lot of randomness in it. Because of that randomness, that's going to cause you to rage a little bit. When you rage a little bit, that's going to be a mistake. You're going to need to go back to the person you raged on and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I regret that. You know, please forgive me. And I bet that 9 times out of 10 that person will forgive you, and that could ironically be the start of a good relationship. Obviously, if you did it right the first time, you wouldn't rage to begin with, but that is kind of the deal. That is kind of the deal. So anyway, gamers, you can obviously watch my team is getting crushed right now. Glenn has beat my ass. I think maybe I didn't route a single fucking unit. That's his army there. And the valiant effort of our team on the right is all for naught, because obviously this other team is going to beat the shit out of us. But that's what I wanted to talk about. I don't know if it's embarrassing or whatever, but I've wanted to talk about this topic of variance for a very, very long time, and trying to find the right video to fit it into. I'd save this replay for a really long time to try to put that all together, but that's it. I mean, there's a lot of randomness in this game. Don't let it freak you out, man. The good players, I remember Kraz, one of the best players in Napoleon Total War, he always had this kind of line he threw out as a joke, but in a really laggy game he would say that you need to become one with the lag, or whatever. That was kind of his way of saying that, yeah, things are rough, times are rough, but good players find ways to overcome that. And in the same way that the best players find ways to overcome the variance, right? Become one with the lag, become one with the variance, right? If it happens, if the RNG happens to be rolling against you that day, that the best players will find ways to overcome it. So that's maybe something to think about, or kind of a goal to have in the back of your head, or whatever. So that's maybe something else to think about. So anyway, this is the end of the game here. Our team is being pushed back to the end. I think actually Finch wins over here. I'm not really sure. It looks like he has a bunch of people alive, so probably Finch wins. But I'll let you kind of watch the final reduction of our armies. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to take, but this is a good game. You don't get games like this very often. It was a little anticlimactic that it wound up being such a rout, but I think that Riss and I's side, we let him beat us up pretty good, so it wound up being a bit of a rout where maybe it shouldn't have been. But anyway, I have been a fuck up, and I'm a better man for it. So you got to acknowledge your mistakes. You know, that's the hardest part about growing up and being a man. You know, what's the difference between a man and a boy? You know, somebody that acknowledges their fuck ups. So maybe that's it. So get out there, play some Napoleon. Keep an eye out for variants. Try to avoid it if you can. But if you can't, just play through it and just be a gentleman the whole way. In my clan, Huntsman, I'm very lucky to be an administrator in that clan, and I have a very strict rule, and that's that, you know, if you're playing with me, you're going to be a gentleman no matter what happens. All the guys in my clan, I'm a big proponent of that. Let's just behave like gentlemen. Win or lose, we're gonna just be gentlemen. You know, no matter what happens, let's enjoy ourselves playing the game and give some respect to our opponents. And if they can then beat us, then I'm sure they earned it. You know, let's not deny them any part of that. So if you're in a clan, I encourage you to spread that doctrine to your clan as well. You know, I really believe that. I believe that if we're gonna respect all of the people that have participated in Huntsman over the years, that we owe them that. You know, all the old members, that we owe them the respect of behaving like gentlemen in their memory. You know, and I refuse to accept anything else. So that is my philosophy on playing the game. So get out there and, you know, you're gonna take some losses. You're gonna take some wins. You know, nobody's 100%. Everybody loses every once in a while. So just try to learn from your mistakes and get out there and be a good player, be a good opponent. And the only thing you can really do is just put up a good game. You know, and if you put up a good effort and you fight, you know, your opponents will give you a GG, and that's what really matters. Just get out there, be a competitor, and you know, have a good attitude towards the competition of the game. This game, to get right down to it, we need a community of players to play it, and it's easier to build that community if all the players are actually nice and good to each other. You know, win or lose. You know, so that is the way to focus on things. So do that. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I've been if you actually sat through this all the way through, leave a little comment or whatever, because obviously I just kind of rambled on social issues a bit, but I think they're important. I think somebody needs to say them, and I don't think anybody else does. So I'm going to be the conscience for the Napoleon community right there. You can see, I think that's Finch's last unit routing right there. So there you go. I'll try to get you something a little more action-packed in the next video. There we go. And yeah, the other team just totally kicked her ass. And looks like Maha and Karlov are the big winners there. And yeah, so we kind of let our team down, but what are you going to do? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jay Martin, and I will check you in the next video.